why I haven't done one of these videos yet, but I did have a few people request that I do a culture shock video. I do want to make it pretty clear that before I moved to Korea, I did know a lot about Korea. At my university, I was in a Korean culture exchange club where I learned about Korean history and had a lot of Korean friends, and I was pretty familiarized with Korean culture before I came here. And probably just like you are doing right now, I also watched countless hours of YouTube videos of people just like myself now reporting their experiences in Korea. So these observations I'm going to talk about are a little bit more specific. They're not the typical just surface Korean culture. Because I was really familiar with that, I was pretty prepared going into it, that I knew what to expect whenever I would get here. The first one I want to talk about is the children in Korea. I work with children Korean grade 4, 5, 6, and middle school 1 and 2. So pretty much 4th grade to 8th grade. To be fair, it's been a while since I've really talked to any American children, but I feel like the children here are a lot different. For one thing, the children here are super observant about you as a person, and they are not afraid to comment about what they see. I've had comments such as, "Oh, teacher, today, your hair, oh, disgusting. Teacher, your face, what is this? And another student of mine once told me, "Teacher, you have a lot of clothes," which means she had noticed what I was wearing each day and kind of keeping a mental tab of it. I know that in Korea it is culturally accepted to be very critical of how other people look. That's why beauty and style are really, really pushed. But it's just kind of baffling to see it happening at that young of an age. I mean, my 4th graders were commenting about the wrinkles on my face, and my 6th graders were talking about how disgusting my hair was whenever I just had it up in a bun and hadn't washed it for a day. So it was kind of just a little surprising to see that they would comment on it. I don't think American children would really even notice those things. Plus, in American culture, it's really rude to comment on someone else's appearance. Whereas in Korea, it's very, very normal. You can just tell someone, be like, "You've gained a lot of weight," or, "Oh, that hair is not good." So it's very different and a little unsettling. And it kind of takes a blow to your self-confidence. But aside from that, also another thing I noticed with children is that they are given a lot of independence here. Because the public transportation is so good and so convenient and so consistent with the subways and the bus systems, I see a lot of children out by themselves. I'll be taking the subway into Seoul and a group of kids will get in and there'll be no adults with them. They're just, in their school uniforms with their backpacks going to school by themselves with no adult supervision, like little kids. So I found that also a little interesting. The next thing on my culture shock list is Korean elderly people. In Korean culture, age is a hierarchy system, so the older you are, the more respect that you are given. I don't know why or for what reason, but I have witnessed a lot of elderly people in public acting like children, whining and yelling and shoving and acting very, very, very entitled and like they can do anything they want and they can have anything they want because they are elderly. I'm kind of used to it now, but I can distinctly remember an incident where I was walking through the subway and I could hear from down a ways, there was this old man yelling his head off as loud as he could. When I walked up to the scene, I could see that they were like this far away from each other and just like yelling at each other. And it was like, what? Oh my gosh, what a scene. It was like a scene out of a Korean drama, which is kind of like, I don't know if you watch any Korean dramas, but if you see the old people, the elderly people, the moms and like the grandmas, and they're always like, oh, aigu, ah, it's kind of like not even a dramatization. It's very accurate. Next thing is the treatment of foreigners. Every single foreigner's experience here is very different. There are a few things that I am kind of amused to witness as a foreigner living in Korea. The first one is that a lot of people are not expecting me to even attempt to speak Korean. I remember I was in the PC room the other day and I was buying some snacks or something. I didn't say much. I grabbed a snack, gave it to them, they rang it up, and I paid for it. But as I was leaving, I said 감사합니다. And then the two guys, one of them turns to the other and says, oh, do you think she can speak Korean? And I just I scoffed and laughed, and I think they noticed. But I just found it so funny that they were like, oh, maybe she can speak Korean, because I said thank you in Korean. I mean, it's just kind of reactions like that that amuse me. They don't expect foreigners to try at all, which is like a little insulting, I guess, but really I just find it funny. Like, you really don't think I would make the effort to learn how to say thank you? And because I said thank you, you think I can speak Korean fluently? Like, I don't know. It's just, I thought it was very funny. And the other thing about how they treat foreigners is that if you are a foreigner and you walk into a store in Korea, you can expect one of 3 reactions. First reaction, they treat you like a normal person. They go about their business, they'll come over to help you if you ask for it, or if you look like you are fiddling with an item and you might be interested in buying it, so they'll help you take out a sample and try on the makeup or whatever. Or, number 2, they will be extremely attentive. They will rush to your side and struggle to push out every single word of English that they know, and they will baby you and do every little thing, take things from you and open them up and put them on for you, and they will just treat you like you are royalty, which is a little uncomfortable. Or the third reaction, they will be petrified of you. I have walked into a store and looked at the store clerk and watched the color drain from their face as they realize a foreigner has just walked into their store. They probably feel anxious about having to struggle with a foreigner who probably doesn't speak Korean, and they are anticipating the awkwardness that is going to happen in just a few moments. But it's still a little funny to see such a strong reaction. Of course, the reactions are a little different whenever you go to a very foreigner-dense area like in Itaewon or Myeongdong, where there's so many people shopping from all over the world. You will have people in every store who speak the language. If you walk into a store in Myeongdong, you're most likely going to find at least one sales clerk who speaks some English, one sales clerk who speaks Chinese, and another one who speaks Japanese, or one person who speaks all 3. My observations that I made are mostly applicable to areas that are not near a lot of foreigners. The last thing I want to mention is something I briefly talked about before in my 7 things I hate about Korea video. Korea is a really dirty place. For some reason, there aren't many public trash cans. You kind of have to go into a building to find a trash can. Maybe if you're lucky, there'll be one next to a subway station or near a park. Littering is just very, very socially acceptable because the magic trash fairies walk through the streets at 4 a.m. and pick everything up, and the next day it's like nothing was ever there in the first place. But then by noon, it's covered in trash again. I don't really get it, but I guess on the bright side, someone is getting paid to pick up all that trash at 4 a.m., so jobs, I guess? In Texas, we have a phrase called, "Don't mess with Texas," and I really like that. I want to keep my nature beautiful and clean and trash-free. But here, they just kind of, open something, toss it as they're walking down the street. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen this happen in front of me. It's a little upsetting. And the last point I want to talk about is helping strangers. Korean people are very polite and very kind, but they're not very, what's the word? I don't know. willing to go out of their way to help a stranger? For example, the other day I was in Coex Mall and I witnessed a scene. There was a woman with her boyfriend. As they were leaving the store, the woman dropped her headphones. Another woman saw, picked up the headphones, and quietly whispered, "Chogyo." But the other couple did not hear and they continued to walk, eventually leaving the store. The woman stood there for a moment, looked at the headphones, and then decided to turn and set them on a nearby counter. I stood there for a moment thinking, really? You couldn't have just raised your voice a little or chased after them for 5 steps and tapped the woman on the shoulder to tell her she had dropped her headphones, which now she had lost and would probably have to replace, and who knows, maybe those were really expensive headphones and she's going to be really depressed and disappointed that she lost her favorite headphones, and now maybe her whole day is ruined. So just because you didn't want to take 5 steps forward or, you know, yell at them again, maybe I'm just a little bit too caring. I don't know. And then I continued on to daydream about grabbing the headphones and chasing after them and tapping her on the shoulder and telling her, "You dropped these." And then she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. These were a present from my grandmother who is dead now." But that didn't happen and I didn't do anything. I just stood there. So those are my major culture shocks that I've experienced in Korea. What about you? Have you ever been to Korea? Have you visited? Have you ever experienced any of these things or witnessed a dramatic scene in the subway station like myself? Please leave a comment below with your own experiences. Also, don't forget to thumbs up this video and hit subscribe to see more of my videos. Also follow me on Snapchat and Instagram, and I will see you lovely people next time. Goodbye! Mwah.